Don't scroll yet, because what this single dad did for a billionaire in trouble will leave you speechless. And when I say 200 luxury cars showed up at his house the next day, I mean every single one of them had a story to tell. Stick till the end, you'll understand why kindness can rewrite a man's destiny. It was a rainy Thursday night when Jake Miller, a single father and former Army medic, pulled his old pickup truck over to the side of a dark road just outside Houston. The wipers struggled against the downpour, but Jake didn't care, he was used to storms. Life had been one long one since his wife, Lena, passed away 3 years ago, leaving him to raise their 10-year-old daughter, Ellie, alone. He worked long shifts at a repair shop, barely earning enough to keep the lights on. But Jake never complained. He just wanted Ellie to smile, to dream, even if her dad's dreams had long run out. That night, he noticed flashing red and blue lights ahead, a cluster of police cars blocking the road. In front of them stood a black Rolls-Royce, its driver pinned against the hood by 2 officers. Jake slowed down, curious. The man looked terrified, soaking wet, shouting something that was drowned by the storm. "Please, just listen. I didn't do anything wrong." Jake could have just driven by. He had no reason to get involved. But something about the scene didn't sit right. Maybe it was the man's desperation, or maybe Jake's old soldier instinct, that unshakable sense of justice, kicked in. He parked his truck, stepped out into the rain, and called out, "Hey! What's going on here?" One of the officers barked, "Move along, sir. This doesn't concern you." But Jake's eyes caught something. The officer's hand pressed too tightly on the man's back, the trembling in his voice, the expensive watch on his wrist, half covered in mud. The man looked up, their eyes met. "Please, they think I stole my own car." Jake frowned. "That true?" The cop glared at him. "Sir, get back in your vehicle." Jake stepped closer. "Show me his ID then. Or you gonna arrest him without proof." A tense silence followed. The man, despite his soaked clothes, reached into his coat and pulled out a drenched wallet. Inside was a gold-edged ID card. The name printed on it made Jake blink. Ethan Ward. He'd seen that name in the news, a billionaire tech CEO, one of the youngest in America. Jake turned to the officers. "This man's who he says he is. You're making a mistake." But the cops didn't back down. One of them shoved Jake aside. "Last warning, buddy." Something in Jake snapped. Maybe it was the way Ellie had once cried because someone had pushed her at school. Maybe it was all the years of staying quiet when life pushed him around. Not this time. Jake planted himself between Ethan and the officers. "You'll have to go through me first." The standoff lasted minutes that felt like hours, until another cruiser pulled up. Out stepped a senior officer, who recognized Ethan immediately. The scene shifted in an instant. Apologies, panic, explanations, all tangled under the storm's roar. When it was over, Ethan turned to Jake, drenched but smiling faintly. "You didn't have to do that," he said. Jake shrugged. "Didn't seem right to watch a man get treated like that." Ethan nodded slowly. "Then you're one of the few who still believe in right." Jake thought nothing of it. He just wanted to go home, tuck Ellie in, and forget the chaos. He didn't even tell her what happened. But the next morning, something extraordinary happened. The rumble outside woke Jake up. When he stepped out of his small rented house, his jaw dropped. Lined up along the street, from one corner to the next, were hundreds of luxury cars. Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Bentleys, every model you could imagine. And in the middle of it all stood Ethan Ward, wearing a clean suit, holding a coffee cup, smiling like an old friend. Jake rubbed his eyes. What is this?" Ethan laughed softly. "You said you fix cars, right? I thought I'd give you a few to work on." Jake's mouth hung open. "A few? There's like 200 here." Ethan nodded. 200 from my private collection. Some need repairs, some need love. And all of them," he gestured to a sign his assistant was putting up, "belong to Miller and Ward Auto Restoration, starting today." Jake blinked. "You're joking." "No joke," Ethan said quietly. "You stood up for me when no one else did. Now I'm standing up for you." Within days, Jake's life transformed. What was once a small, crumbling garage became a booming business. People came from all over to see the story of the single dad who helped a billionaire and was rewarded beyond his imagination. But Jake didn't change. He still packed Ellie's lunch every morning, still fixed engines with his own hands, still drove that old pickup. One evening, a reporter asked him, "Jake, how does it feel to go from broke to business owner overnight?" He smiled and said, "Money comes and goes. What stays is what you do when no one's watching." Ethan stood beside him, nodding proudly. That's exactly why he's the kind of man the world needs more of. Months later, Jake opened a scholarship fund in his wife's name, for single parents trying to rebuild their lives. The sign above the garage read, "Fix what's broken, not just cars, but people too." And if you watched this far, you already know what to do. Hit that like button if you believe kindness still matters, and subscribe because stories like Jake's, stories about courage, heart, and second chances, are worth sharing with the world. Because sometimes, one small act of standing up for what's right, can make the entire world stand up for you.